Top 10 greatest wins in UFC history. And in the bottom here it says highest level fights of all time. So I'm going to assume you're talking about in terms of skill and how high level the fight was. So we'll go off that criteria. At number 10, you have DJ versus Cejudo 2. Cejudo dethrones Mighty Mouse in one of the most high level fights ever. Yes, I agree, but a lot of people do think that DJ won this fight. It was very, very close, but yes, if you think Cejudo won, this is absolutely a top 10 great win. At number 9, you have Oliveira versus Makhachev. Yes, this was meant to be the next Tony versus Khabib, that next generation Tony versus Khabib style fight, and we got it. It delivered. It proved that Sambo is more effective than just pure Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Despite the fact that both guys could strike, I do think that that was not the best showcasing for Charles Oliveira we've ever seen. However, I don't think it would have mattered. I think Islam Makhachev was just too much regardless. At number 8, you have Holloway versus Volkanovski. I don't know if it's a top 10 victory. Like, yes, it was a high-level fight. Volkanovski definitely, dominated the action in this for the most part, nullified the action from Max Holloway mostly, but I don't know if this is a top 10 win. At number 7, you have Holloway versus Aldo 1. No, Aldo was not still in his prime at this point. Let's just be honest. This was not the same guy who's destroying guys in the WEC or the same guy who destroyed the Korean Zombie or beat Chad Mendes in the second fight. This is not the same version of Jose Aldo. I also wouldn't say that the Holloway-Aldo 1 fight is as good as the second fight. The second fight was a much better and much more dominant performance of Max Holloway, and a very similar version of Jose Aldo, except I guess the fight was on short notice for him, so we can debate that. Number 6, McGregor versus Aldo. Yeah, I agree, because that punch was set up. It was not a lucky shot. McGregor planned it, so I do think, yes, top 10. At number 5, you got Topuria versus Holloway. Yeah, I agree. This is an absolute amazing performance. It kind of proved in this case that power beat technique, because Holloway has more techniques in his arsenal, but Ilia Topuria's very simple boxing game proved to be just too much for Max Holloway combined with that power. Number 4, Jan versus Merab. I agree. Jan was such a high-level fighter this time, and he still is, but at this time, he was coming off that fight against Sean O'Malley, where a lot of people, including myself, thought that he won, and Merab was very much underestimated at the time, and he proved that he absolutely belongs, so I agree. Number 3, you have Jones versus DC1. I agree. This was an absolute masterclass from John. And number 2, Makhachev versus Volk 1. I absolutely agree. This was one of the highest level fights we've ever seen in the UFC to this day, and it is still argued who won this fight. And at number 3, you have Holloway versus Volk 3. I agree, man. I don't know if it's number 1, but I definitely agree that it's top 10. This was an absolute masterclass from Volkanovski, because he didn't just point fight with Holloway. He was trying to cause damage and finish Max Holloway. This was the absolute perfect way to close up the trilogy. And honestly, instead of having this in here, I think that we should have Dominic Cruz's win over TJ Dillashaw. I think that was absolutely better than this fight.